So yes, this evening is pretty warm for all of us, I think. So we won't do anything too dynamic. We're not going to be jumping around our mats, and we'll do, well, I guess, a cooling practice, but that doesn't mean we won't kind of work, but we can just have this emphasis on cooling. Also, you may or may not be at all interested in astrological things, but today is the 8th of August, the 8th of the 8th, which you may have heard the phrase the Lionsgate Portal, you may not, but it's the astrological event that this day marks. And it's to do with Sirius, the star Sirius. We'll start to see that in the sky soon, and yeah, an alignment between Sirius and Orion and the Earth. So yeah, I always really love this day. I don't really know why, but I always think it's a cool day, and that whenever there's some kind of astrological event going on, like the same with nature's calendar, to me the stars and the cosmos are just part of nature, then we can kind of attune ourselves to it. So that was my intention for this evening. So what that really means, we did a bit of a heart opening practice last week, but we will also do a bit of a kind of back bending, chest opening practice this week, because the Sirius energy is a very high frequency, so we want to be opening our hearts. And also the third eye, this kind of intuition. So we'll have a little time for meditation, more seated stillness, which is also cooling, so not moving. So that's our kind of theme for this evening. So we're going to start seated today. Get yourself comfortable. We're going to be here for a few minutes. So even if you need to sit on a chair, that's absolutely fine. Or you might just put yourself up on a block. You can sit in any comfortable position. We want to be comfortable because we want to, as best we can, just start the class in stillness. And I know for some of us that can be quite difficult. So we're just going to start, we'll do a tune in, and then we'll do a breath practice, and then we'll just give a little bit of space to stay seated. Okay, so just find your comfortable seat and just bring your shoulders up to the ears, press them back, push them down. So already we start to feel this sense of opening the front body. But as you do that, check you've not popped to the lower ribs out. Just draw the lower ribs back so you feel some sense of your core connection. So you feel stable at your core, even with the chest open. That's what we're looking for. And then gently draw the chin in towards the chest. Rest the hands wherever's comfortable. I've got my hands on my thighs with my palms up, but you might want to take a mudra if you know any hand positions. You might want to have the hands together in the lap, whatever's comfortable. And close the eyes. So let's just begin to draw our awareness inwards. And just reflect on the day you've had. As I say, even if you have no interest in astrology, what the planets are doing, what the stars are doing, just observe the day you've had. What quality of energy has this day had? Has it been an easy day for you? Has it been a difficult day? Have you loved it? Has it been challenging? Have you been stressed? Have you been relaxed? Happy, sad, angry? Feeling the kind of quality of the day, and any just particular moments, events, exchanges with people that stand out, either because they were great or because they were challenging. Kind of doing a bit of a recap of your Lionsgate Portal day, how it's flowing for you, how it has flowed to you up to this point. And then just kind of let that all go. Let go of the triumphs, let go of the challenges, just release the day, so that we can just fully be here, just feel all that's brought you to the mat this evening, just dropping away. And here we are in our bodies with our breath. So just become aware of your body, how it's connecting to the floor. Become aware of your breath. Relaxing those shoulders. Hopefully the chest still feels nice and open, perhaps lifting. And I'd like us to heart breathe. So what I mean by that is become very aware of where your heart is located in your body, just to the left of the chest. And feel like we're breathing from and to this part of the body. And the color associated with the heart in yoga is green. So if you're a visual person, You can imagine kind of a green light or a green sphere of light in your heart space. And as you're breathing in, that sphere is growing, increasing in size and intensity. And as you breathe out, it's like that green heart energy just spreads and flows through the body, like a healing heart energy. Heart obviously being connected to love. Just do a few slow, deep breaths, holding your awareness at your heart space, and kind of color breathing or heart breathing, breathing from the heart and breathing heart energy around the body, healing energy. You just breathe with intent. Maybe you might want to set an intention for the practice for it to be a healing class, heart healing class for you. And then at the end of your next breath, just open the eyes if they're closed still. And we're going to do a breath technique called Shitali, which is a cooling breath. It means the cooling breath. Can anyone in the class this evening not roll their tongue? You know, it's a genetic thing. There you can do. Okay, okay. Half of the class, interesting. So you instead of rolling the tongue, you're going to touch the tip of the tongue to the back of the top teeth. So your tip of your tongue's just resting behind the top teeth, just where the gum meets the teeth, and you get the same effect. Those of you who can roll the tongue, you're going to breathe into and out of, so what we do, we're going to breathe in with the tongue sticking out through the mouth, and then we just breathe out normally. You can relax the tongue, just breathe out, or you're just breathing in with the tongue touching the back of the teeth and breathing out normally. And you should feel literally a cooling feeling in your mouth because it's evaporating, moisture's evaporating off the tongue. Okay, so we're just going to do a few rounds, just make it as slow, deep breaths as possible. So just in your own time, breathing in with your chosen tongue position. Full breath, and then just let the tongue go and breathe out normally through the nose or the mouth. Probably the nose is better actually, and then just do maybe 5 more in your own time. Keep the shoulders relaxed. I know it's a bit of a funny one, but this literally will cool you down. There's a wisdom to these techniques. And cool your internal body temperature down. It's the same reason why dogs pant, they're evaporating off the tongue. And that's what we're doing here, to cool ourselves down. A couple more. And then at the end of your next exhale, just pause. And before we begin to go into the movement part of our class, just see if you can come to stillness as best you can. To kind of get yourself comfortable again, and then just see if you can become very aware of all the little movements your body might be making, and gradually just feel those movements start to still. Obviously, we're not going to be totally still because we're still breathing and the breath moves the body. Make any little tiny adjustments you need to be comfortable. And just explore the moments of stillness. So as you do this, instead of holding your awareness in your heart, hold your awareness in the space between your eyebrows. So you can even turn your inner gaze, your eyes together and upwards to look towards this space. It's like an inner space. And that's actually what this point is called, Chidakasha, which translates as inner space. The space between the eyebrows. We're looking at with the eyes closed. We're looking at our internal landscape, our inner space. And just feeling yourself becoming still, quiet. I'm just going to stay for maybe another minute. I'm going to stop talking. And then just deepen your breath. Feel how that brings more movement into the body. And then from here, we're going to just gently start to bring movement in. So we will come off our seat very soon, but just before we do, just take your hands onto your knees. And we're going to cat-cow the spine seated. So as you inhale, we draw the shoulders back, lift the chest and look up. So I'm arching the spine. And as you exhale, it's like you're pulling on the knees. You can send the back to the wall behind you and draw the chin to the chest. So from the side, we're arching the spine forwards and back. Just like we're doing cat-cow. But here we're seated. And you'll feel yourself rocking from the back to the front of the pelvis, maybe. And try and do it with the breath, like we do when we're on the hands and knees. We inhale into the cow with the chest open and lifted. We exhale into the cat with the chest closed but stretching the back of the body. Do a couple more rounds. And if the lower back is tight, you might not feel much freedom of movement here, but just do, have as much movement as the body is able to give you without forcing, and then slowly just come back to neutral. And then because we've been on our hands and knees for a while, we'll come onto our hands and, we've been seated for a while, so we'll come onto our hands and knees. So just find your way onto your hands and knees and just stretch your left leg out behind you. So your hands are under your shoulders, knees under the hips, stretch the left foot behind you and just press through the hands to send the left heel to the wall behind you. So you should feel this as a stretch on the lower calf and the back of that ankle. If you don't feel anything, take the hands a bit further forward and then you'll be able to press a bit more. Just increase that feeling. Just breathe into the back of the leg here. And then if you took the hands forward, walk them back underneath the shoulders, lift the belly up towards the spine and lift the left leg up with the toes pointing down to the floor. So we're connecting to our core here. You can just stay here, or we can lift the right arm and send the right fingertips forward. Just look to the floor. So press back through the left heel, reach forward through right fingertips. Breathe fully. And then exhale, lower down. And same on the other side. Start with the stretch. So take the right foot out behind you. And you're on the ball of the foot. You're stretching the heel to the wall behind you. Maybe taking the hands forward if you need a bit more here. Breathing. And then if you walk the hands forward, bring them back underneath the shoulders, connect to your core first. Feel that lift of the belly up to the spine, connect to the pelvic floor, lift the right leg. Just in line with the hip, it doesn't need to be high. Push out through the right heel behind you, and if you feel stable, lift the left arm and reach the left fingertips forward. So we're working the core here, but in kind of less dynamic, more cooling. I mean, I know it's not cooling, but more about static holds, but we're still lifting the belly up to the spine, working the core, and then release everything down. Just take a child's pose. So you can have the knees together or the knees wide, but make sure the forehead touches down. So if the forehead doesn't meet the floor, take a block underneath the forehead and just take a few breaths here. You can have the hands forward or back, but we're just stimulating that space of Chitta or the third eye. It's sometimes called the space between the eyebrows. Is there a power place in our body where we can connect to our intuition, our more spiritual side of our being? So we just feel that being lightly pressed, and again, just bringing our awareness to this part of the body. So this is my intention for this evening, third eye and heart. So just a couple more breaths here. And then bringing the hands forward, bring yourself up to tabletop, back where you were, hips above the knees, and walk the hands out, keeping the hips where they are. So don't let the hips come forward, keep the thighs vertical, and then we drop the chest towards the floor. But Anahatasana. Anahata is the heart chakra, and that's really what we're looking at this evening. So we're working with the heart space, but more in an energetic way, but also physical. We'll do lots of back bending. So your chin could be on the floor if you're very open, or your forehead. Again, make sure the forehead is connected to something. Don't let the head just hover. Take a couple more breaths, breathing into the chest. And the upper back. And then at the end of your next exhale, press through the hands, walking the hands back in. And just while we're here, we've done cat-cow seated, but just do a couple of rounds on our hands and knees, just because it is so good for the spine. Again, working with the breath, inhaling into the cow, and exhaling into the cat. Okay, and seeing as today is the Lionsgate, just before we move on from our hands and knees, we're just going to do the lion breath. So it's another kind of weird yogic breath. Just go with it. So what we do, we just take a breath in, and as we breathe out, we're going to roar like a lion, and it's in a particular way. We stick the tongue out as far as it will go. You want to make the tongue, I know, you want to make the tongue as big and wide as possible, and you look up to your eyebrows. So the best thing I can do is demonstrate, and at the same time you breathe out like a kind of like a whisper, loud whisper, or a sigh, or it kind of sounds a bit like a roar. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate. Okay, so notice that I kind of was almost doing a bit of cat-cow there as well. So as you breathe in, you almost come into the cat, and as you breathe out into the lion, it's more that cow, lifting the head and sighing out. So just do maybe 3 lions breaths in your own time. Just, it's a really good detoxifying breath, and just, you know, if you're finding it ridiculous, just, it's fine, just do it. Or don't do it if you don't want to. Okay, and then when you've done, when you've finished your next round, we're going to take this into downward dog. And actually, we've just gone from the lion into downward dog. Sirius is also called the dog star, so that's quite a nice little juxtaposition. Okay, so hands slightly in front of the shoulders, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, and finding that triangular shape to the body. So you can bend the knees here as much as you want, but just feel, again, we perhaps won't flow so much today, more feeling the work through static postures and stillness. Okay, so just really, we'll take a few more slow, deep breaths here to really give ourselves time to settle into the posture, the dynamic stillness of the posture. It's never totally still. We're breathing. But just kind of settle your way into the shape. Feel the parts of the body that are resistant, that feel tight. Breathe into those areas. Let's take a couple more slow, deep breaths. If you need to come out earlier than I say in any postures, please do. Just bring your knees down, because we might hold postures for a bit longer than usual today. And then at the end of the exhale, look forward and just walk the feet to the hands. So we end up with our feet underneath our hips. And again, we're just going to use this as a static posture. So today we'll do Padangusthasana. So we're going to take the first 2 fingers and the thumb around the big toes. So to find that, you might need to bend the knees quite a lot. And then just drop the head, let the elbows go wide if you're quite open. Keep the knees bent as much as you want, but you're holding it's like your big toe is pressing down into the finger pads, into the first 2 finger pads, and your thumb is pressing into the tip of your toe on both sides. So that's our Padangusthasana, hands to toe posture, or finger to toe posture. So just take a few more breaths here. Again, just giving yourselves a bit longer in each posture. Feel the coolness of stillness. It's just too hot for me to move too much this evening, so this is a good thing for me. Okay, we're going to inhale, straighten the arms and look up. And we're going to change it into Padahastasana. So I'm kind of tricking you into taking a very long forward fold because we stay folded over, but this time we slide the hands underneath the feet. So my palms are up and I'm sliding them under. So again, you might need to bend the knees loads to be able to find that connection between the soles of your feet and the palms of your hands. And then kind of press through the soles of the feet into the hands. If you're more open, your toes might be touching the inner wrist, but it might just be that you just got fingers, toes touching. So just explore this sensation. It's not something we're perhaps used to doing, standing on our own hands. So just be curious, be open, And again, just take a few more breaths, moving into stillness here. Shoulders away from the ears, neck relaxed, jaw relaxed. One more breath. Great. And then one at a time, release the hands. Bring the hands to the hips. Bend the knees, push through the legs, bring yourself up to stand. And we will do a couple of sun salutations, but we're going to like pause in the postures a bit more. So it's not going to be a full fast flow, but we will go through that sequence. Okay, so just come to stand at the front of the mat and just begin in Tadasana. So in a way, it's good to do this sometimes to really break down the different shapes that we make in the sun salutation. So we start in mountain pose, which is a posture in its own right. So the shoulders up and down, reach down through the fingertips, which depresses the shoulders, pushes down the shoulders away from the ears. Firm the thighs by drawing up on the kneecaps, drop the tailbone, connect to the core. So we're not sticking the bum out behind us, we're dropping it. So legs are strong, arms are active, we're connected to our core. And again, we should have this sense of the chest open and lifting and the chin drawing slightly in, so the back of the neck is long. Feel your toes spreading and your feet connected to the floor, and breathe deep. And then on your next inhale, raise the hands, but stay. So look up, the palms come together above the head and we look up to the palms. Feel your feet pressing down into the mat as you reach up through the fingertips. So we stay connected and grounded as we stretch up. And then on your next exhale, forward fold, and we're back into this forward fold. So we're just going to take a couple of breaths, just slowing the whole sequence down today. On your next inhale, look up and lengthen the spine. So you can just keep the fingertips on the floor, but if you've got tight hamstrings, you could bring the hands onto the shins. You could also, of course, bend the knees. Draw the shoulders back, feel like the chest is opening to the front. So it's almost like a little back bend here. Check you're not hanging out in your heels. Keep connected through the whole of the feet. And then we're going to plant the hands and step back to the plank. And again, pause in the plank. So if the plank is too much, this is where the shoulders are above the wrists and the body is in a straight line on the balls of the feet. If it's too much, bring the knees down, come to tabletop, but still with the shoulders over the wrists. Okay, that gives you the same work. On the either position, knees down or off the floor, you're pressing the floor away, feeling the space between the shoulder blades increase, feeling the legs strong. So again, we're working the core here, but in the more cooling way of static holds rather than dynamic postures. Okay, and then bring the knees down, bring the chin and the chest down. If you can, we're going to stay in Ashtangasana just for a couple of breaths. So it's a really awkward posture for some of us, but I'm on the knees, my hands are underneath my shoulders, my chin and the chest is in front of the hands. Okay, and then slide the legs out behind you and inhale into the cobra. So hands underneath the shoulders, toes on the floor, draw the shoulders back, keep the neck long and just look to the floor in front of you. Again, we're holding for a couple of breaths or 2 or 3 breaths, quality, not quantity. Press down through the pubic bone and the feet. And then from here, we press through the hands, bring yourself up to tabletop and then back to downward dog. And again, we're just gonna take a few slow, deep breaths, downward dog, feeling our way into the posture, bending the knees if we need. If we spend longer in postures, we have the chance to iron out some of the asymmetries in the body. We can become more aware of them and take time to just let them open with the breath. One more breath. Bring the knees down before I say if you need, remember. And then from here, at the end of the exhale, we look forward and we bring the feet towards the hands again. So it might be one big step, it might be lots of little steps. And then on an inhale, look up and lengthen the spine. We won't hold it this time. Exhale, drop the head, press through the feet. Inhale, raise the hands above the head, back to that place where you feel the feet pressing down as the fingertips reach up, and exhale back to the mountain pose. Okay, so we'll just go through that again, and maybe we'll just speed it up a bit, but not still full flow. Usually it's 1 breath, 1 movement, maybe 2 breaths, 2 breaths per movement. Okay, so just take 1 more breath here in Tadasana, feeling this as a posture in its own right, legs strong, arms active. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale. Inhale here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, forward fold. And exhale. Inhale, look up and lengthen the spine. And exhale here. Inhale. Plant the hands. Exhale back to plank or tabletop. Knees on or off the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale, lower down, knees on the floor, or if you prefer, off the floor. And then on your next inhale, come to a back bend, cobra or upward dog. And exhale in the back bend. Inhale, back bend. Exhale. And then press through the hands. Bring yourself back up to tabletop, back through to downward dog. We're going to take at least 5 slow deep breaths. So remember, you could choose child's pose instead of downward dog, if downward dog's getting tiring on the wrists or anywhere else in the body. But the beauty of downward dog and child's pose is they are inversions, so they help stimulate the third eye, the higher chakras. A couple more breaths. Really breathe fully. And then at the end of your next exhale, your final exhale, look forward, walk, step, or jump the feet to the hands. Inhale, look up. Again, we'll speed it up a little bit here, and exhale, fold into the shins. Press through the feet. Inhale, raise the hands above the head, stretch up as you root down through the feet, and exhale, return to Tadasana. Beautiful. Okay, and then from here, stand to face the long edge of the mat. I'm going to do some standing postures, again, holding a bit longer than usual. So first, Trikonasana. So your feet aren't super wide here, somewhere between elbows and wrists. Turn your left foot in, your right foot out, but keep the hips facing forward. Inhale, stretch through the fingertips. Exhale, slide the torso to the right, and then bring the right hand down to meet the right leg, and the left hand comes up. If your neck needs to, keep it looking straight ahead, but if it can, look up to that top hand. But if we're holding for a bit longer and your neck starts to fatigue, looking up, no problem, just look forward or even down, but don't let that left shoulder drop. Keep the left shoulder above the right shoulder so the chest is nice and open. Okay, so just feeling your awareness in your feet, open the toes, feel your awareness in your legs, firm the thighs, in your core, draw the pelvic floor in, the lower belly in, and then feel space between the shoulder blades as you reach up through the left fingertips, and then just breathe as fully as you can for one more breath here. Great, and then inhale, coming up, and we'll just swap sides. So turn the right foot in, the left foot out, but the hips stay facing forward. Inhale, extend through the fingertips. Exhale, slide to the left. Bring the left hand down. Raise the right hand so the chest is nice and open to the side rather than down towards the floor if possible. So we're drawing the right shoulder back and we're looking up to the right hand to encourage that opening if available. Or look straight ahead. Thighs firm, feet open and spreading. Connected to core. And then just breathe. Dynamic stillness. Being very aware of all the little micro movements and adjustments your body has to make to keep the shape. And then on your next inhale, lead with the right hand, bring yourself up again, and just turn to face forward and widen the stance a little bit. So we're going to stay similar but different. So turn left foot in, right foot out, hips face forward, and still we're reaching through the fingertips, inhaling here. Exhale, bend the right knee and bring the right elbow onto the thigh, or the right hands onto the floor, maybe onto a block. But the left upper arm is coming up and over and it's close to the ear. And again, we're trying to open the chest and even revolve the chest up towards the ceiling. So again, if your neck allows, you're looking up to your left hand and the left palm is facing the floor. If it is too much for the neck, look forward. So we're just doing kind of more classic postures and holding them for longer. Parsvakonasana, other side angle pose. Breathe into the left side of the body here, really anchoring down through the little toes of the left foot. Couple more breaths. Great, and then inhale, come up, and we're just going to swap sides. So turn the right foot in and the left foot out. Hips don't move, hips stay facing forward, reach through fingertips, exhale, bend the left knee. Bring left elbow onto thigh or left hand to the floor. But right upper arm comes up and over, so it's close to the ear so that we find this straight line from foot to fingertips. And then maybe it's kind of like an opening of the chest to the ceiling as we look up to that top hand. Palms facing down. Really feel the right little toe edge of the right foot really anchoring down, that back leg strong and active. You reach away with the fingertips, right fingertips. One more breath. Actually, more breath again. I want to hold longer than usual today. Great. And then straighten the left leg to come up. And just turn the left foot in, so we end up with, we're still nice and wide in the feet. If you need to bring the feet back together and open them again, that's fine, but otherwise we're going to stay wide. But now the outer edges of the feet are parallel. And we're going to do a few different variations of the forward fold, the prasarita, wide leg forward fold. If you know you've got tight hamstrings, have a block handy. Because there is even if you're quite open, there's an option to rest the forehead on a block potentially to, again, stimulate this third eye area. Okay, so bring the hands onto the hips. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Exhale, forward fold. When you get to your deepest fold, release the hands. So if you're somebody whose head's relatively close to the floor, but not quite there, you might want to try what it's like to just support the head on a block. If it feels like it compresses the neck a bit too much, then either put it on a lower setting or just skip it. But it can feel nice. It can feel quite restorative sometimes to work with. Whenever we support the head, especially the forehead, it's just like very relaxing for the body. If it's not working for you though, don't just lose the break and just let the head dangle. Some people might be able to get the forehead to the floor, then you get that sensation of support, but don't force it. Maybe not this line. Okay, so just taking a few more breaths here. Again, feeling the strength in your legs, feeling your connection to your core. Using the extra time in the posture to really feel your way into it, really feel your way into the asymmetries, the tight areas. Great. And then at the end of your next exhale, press through the arms, press through the hands to straighten the arms and look up, and bring the hands to the hips. And then on an inhale, coming all the way up. And just pause for a moment, especially if it's hot, you might feel a bit lightheaded. We're going to go down again. If you need to, at any point, bring the legs together and open them wide again, just then do so, otherwise, again, we stay wide. Okay, so we're going to do 3 of these. So the second one, we're going to take the hands behind us and interlace the fingers behind the back. So the knuckles are pointing away. And get into the shoulders. And then we inhale, lift the chest again, lifting the hands away from the back, and then exhale, forward fold. And we're bringing the hands up, maybe in front of us if we're more open, but as far up away from the back as possible. It's like we're trying to move the knuckles away from us. Okay, this is Prasarita Padottanasana C, sorry. So just, you have to use your legs a bit more strongly here, and you have to really connect to your core. We won't stay quite as long, but just a couple more breaths if you can, 2 or 3 more breaths. And then on your next inhale, lead with the knuckles. Use your knuckles to bring yourself back up. And once you're all the way up, just open the hands wide and bring the hands down. And then just feel, do I need to bring the feet together for a moment? Just let the blood go the other way. It's so hot in this room, I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded. Okay, so we're going to do one more. And we'll do the D version. Okay, so you start with the hands on the hips, roll the shoulders back, inhale, lift the chest, look up. Exhale, take that forward fold again. And this time we release the hands and we take that same grip that we took before with the first 2 fingers and the thumbs around the big toes. So you might need to bend the knees here or bring the feet closer together. And then drop the head. So as before, the big toe is pressing on the pads of the 2 first fingers, and your thumb is pressing into the tip of the toe on both sides. Elbows wide if you're quite open, shoulders away from the ears, legs strong, connected to core, breathing fully. One more breath.
And then inhale, straighten the arms and look up. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. And now exhale, we bring the feet together. So just return to Tadasana. So in yogic terms, cooling postures are more like forward fold. So that's what we were doing there. I'm going to do another one now. So we're going to just come to stand at the front of the mat and step the left foot back behind, but not very far. There's not a big distance between the feet. Look down at your feet. Your heels should be in line, or take your right foot a foot's width further over to the right. That might make it easier because we want to bring the hip bones to face forward. Okay, so this is the leg position we're looking for. If you can, you're going to bring the hands behind you and take reverse prayer. If that's not available, you're going to hold the opposite elbow or opposite forearms, whatever you can find. Okay. And then we're going to inhale, lift the chest and look up, so we get the heart opening. And then we exhale, we come into a forward fold. So this is Parsvottanasana, the pyramid pose. So if you've got your hands pressing together, really press the heel of the hands together, roll the shoulders back. Even if you're holding forearms or elbows, just roll the shoulders back to help open the chest, even in this forward fold. It's a strong posture. We have to use the legs, use the core connection. Try and take another 2 or 3 more slow, deep breaths. And then release the hands, bring the hands down to the floor, or if you can't find the floor, onto the shin. And just take another couple of breaths where we just drop the head. If you're very open, you could take the hands back, that you're on the palms facing up, the fingertips pointing back, kind of like gorilla hands, and just folding a little bit deeper, optional. If you're really open, you could clasp your hands around the back of the left leg, optional. Okay, so we've been in this leg position a long time. So we're going to bring the hands to the hips, take a slight bend on the right leg, bring yourself up by pushing through the legs, and then we're simply going to swap sides. So bring the feet together, find that mountain pose, just let that all settle. And then again, we'll take we'll find the foot position first and then take the hand position. So step your right foot back, check your heels are in line, or your left foot is slightly further out to the left. Your right toes are slightly in front of the heel, hips facing forward. Choose your hand position, reverse prayer or holding opposite elbows. Roll the shoulders back, inhale, lift the chest and look up. Exhale, take a forward fold. So we try and take at least 5 breaths first in this first position. Press the heel of the hands together, roll the shoulders back. If you're in the reverse prayer, breathe deeply, whichever position you're in. Feel the legs strong, feel like you're pressing even weight distribution through front leg and back leg. Connect to your core. And then releasing the hands, bring the hands down to the shin or the floor, or if you happen to have a block, you could also put your hands on a block. Forgot to say that on the other side, just to bring the floor closer to you. And this time, drop the head completely. And again, maybe walking the hands back or maybe clasping around the back of the right leg if you're more open. And just taking 2 or 3 more slow, deep breaths here. And then bring your hands to your hips, take a little bend in that left leg, bring yourself back to vertical, step the right foot forward, return to the mountain pose. And just feel mountain pose as a posture again, feeling the legs strong, arms active, postural awareness. And just connect your breath. So I'm just going to do a time check. Okay, so we will do a balance and then come down to the floor. So let's just do the tree. We're kind of doing very classic postures today. So starting balancing on the left leg, spread the toes, firm the thigh. We're going to, if we can, we pick up the right ankle and bring the right foot to the inside of the left leg. If you can't pick it up with your hand, just slide the foot up the leg. The only place we don't want to be is having the heel pressing into the knee joint. Okay, so have the heel above or below the knee joint. Bring the hands together at the center of the chest. Find a steady gaze point on the floor. So we're going to explore how much we can move towards stillness even in a balance, and it might not be much at all today. This is fine. Stay here or raise the hands above the head as you inhale, and as you exhale, open the hands wider than shoulders. And reach the fingertips up, draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Don't watch me, I'm very wobbly today. Look at something that's not moving. And really stay connected to your breath. Just explore. If we're wobbly, we're going to be moving more. But how can we find those moments of stillness? If you do feel really stable, really still today, you could bring the palms together above the head and take the gaze up to the hands. Challenge your balance even more. If you're feeling wobbly, probably don't do that. Much harder to balance when we look up. Or if you feel really stable, try closing the eyes. That's really hard. Okay, so coming out, bringing the palms together. Exhale, bringing the hands to the center of the chest. Inhaling here. Exhale, bring the right foot down. Return to the mountain pose for a moment. Feel both feet grounding on the floor. And then other side. So when you're ready, feel your right leg strong. Pick up your left foot or slide it up the leg. Don't press the inner knee joint. Palms together at the chest. Find your steady gaze. Connect to your core. And steady breath. And then inhale, raise the hands above the head. Exhale, open, slightly wider than shoulders with the fingertips, and stay for a few slow deep breaths, drawing the shoulders down the spine. I'm totally cheating with the roof. It's okay to cheat if you're by a wall and you're wobbling. Steady breath, steady gaze. Okay, those who feel very stable, not me. Bring the palms together and incrementally take the gaze up toward the hands. And maybe if you feel really stable, bring the gaze back forward and just try slowly closing your eyes for a moment. You'll probably fall out, it's normal. And then we're going to all come out, so palms together, exhale the hands to the center of the chest. Inhaling here, exhale, feet down. And just pause for a moment. Okay, so we're definitely coming down to the floor here. It's so hot. So we're going to take the feet a little bit wider than hips and come into our Malasana squat. So sink the hips down. If you have knee issues, hip issues, maybe come halfway and just pause there. You're still getting the benefits to some extent. Actually slightly different benefits, but if you can, come all the way down, and then we get this real lower back opening as well. Using your upper arms to press the inner thighs apart, and if you need the floor for balance, fine, but if not, palms together at the chest, and we're lifting up through the chest. So just connecting to our heart center again here, breathing, maybe that color breathing, heart centered breathing, just to bring our awareness to our heart space. It's very powerful when we breathe with intent and awareness in particular parts of the body. Our imagination and mind is very powerful, especially if we have that intention of healing energy being sent around the body as we exhale. We can just reconnect with that for a moment. Great. And then we're going to come down to the floor. I'm just going to give you one chance. This is like the dynamic bit of the class. If you wish, you can totally skip this bit. Seeing as we're in this squat, you could have a little go at the crow balance. This is optional, Bakasana. Or you can just sit yourself down. We're going to come into child's pose after this, so you could just come straight to child's pose. But if you want to have a play, we're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders, spread the fingers wide, and then we bring the weight forward. You're pressing the thighs to the outer upper arms. They have to be above the elbows. And you might get to a point, you have to bring the weight quite far forward where you can lift a foot off the floor, maybe the other foot, until you're just balancing on the hands. And you might only get that still point for a second. And you might just lift off a millimeter, but just have a little play if you wish. If you're more open, you can have the knees on the back of the arms and come into Bakasana in that way. Just have a little play. And then when you've had a play, don't worry if you fall forward onto your head, it's fine. You're not going to hurt yourself because you're so close to the floor. Okay. And then come down to child's pose. So when you've had your little playing crow, come back to that child's pose, maybe a wide knee child's pose this time. So big toes touching, knees wide, and just walk hands forward, bring forehead down to the floor again. So just kind of moving into another phase of the class. So just reconnecting with the seat of our intuition, which we're doing by connecting to the third eye, but also by just coming to stillness. We need, if we want to listen to our inner wisdom, we need to be quiet. We need to get quiet. We need to get still. Be with ourselves in a quiet, still way. So just be with yourself here, breathing, inner listening, inner watching. Just forgetting the outer world for a moment. Totally being with your inner wisdom, your inner landscape. And then we're going to turn this into a side opener. So just press through your hands, lift yourself up slightly and walk the hands over to the left as far as they'll go, and see if you might be able to put your right hand on top of your left hand or have it close, and then drop the head. So you might rest the head on the right upper arm, you might rest the head between the arms on the floor, but try to not go so far to the left that the right buttock lifts off the right heel. Try to keep that right buttock dropping down. And breathe into that stretch on the right side of the body. And then at the end of your next exhale, lift the gaze, walk back through the center and take the hands over to the right. Okay, so just the same as before, walk the right hand over to the right and the left hand joins. And if possible, the left hand comes on top of the right hand. May or may not work for you. And watch that left buttock as well. Sometimes we can go so far over to the right that we've just, we've had to lift the left buttock up. So just bring the hands back a little bit and let the left buttock drop back down towards the heel. Rest the head on the arms or the floor or block. Breathe into that side body stretch. Okay, and then lifting the head, walking back to the center, coming up to tabletop. We're going to come down onto our belly. So from here, you can just kind of lower yourself down with control, coming down onto your belly. And just take a moment with the forehead on the back of the hand. So once again, we feel that forehead connection. And just take a moment to arrive here, just letting the body relax for a moment. Letting the breath settle and deepen. We're going to do 3 back bends, and I'm going to give you options so you can just stay with the first one 40 times or take rest or build it up each time. So first one we're going to do is the Sphinx. So we're going to bring the elbows underneath the shoulders and we're back onto our heart focus, heart opening focus. So we draw the shoulders back. We feel like we're shining the heart forward. Try not to close down. Okay, so we're trying to reverse that pattern of closing the chest down that many of us have. Press the pubic bone down, press the toenails down, relax the buttocks, see if you can relax the buttocks here. And just breathe. Again, maybe closing the eyes and taking your awareness to where you feel your heart to be. And breathing into that space and out of that space, maybe green color breathing. Relax the jaw and the face. Moving into stillness, dynamic stillness. And then exhale, lower down. Come back to your resting position, which could be forehead on the back of the hands. But if you do prefer, you could just bring the hands to the side, turn the cheek to the side. But it might feel good to just keep reconnecting with the forehead this evening. Okay, so returning the hands, we're going to come back to the Sphinx. So again, elbows underneath the shoulders. So you can just repeat the Sphinx, or you can turn the hands out slightly, press through the hands and come more to a straight arm position. We keep the pubic bone on the floor. We try to keep the buttocks relaxed. But if your body's asking for more, you could even bring the hands back further, but we're rolling the shoulders down the spine and we're keeping the pubic bone on the floor. Okay, so you're in Sphinx on the elbows, or you're starting to straighten the arms and bringing the hands as close or as far from the body as is right for you. And then when you choose, when you get to your chosen position again, just breathe, quality breaths, maybe closing the eyes, because we're opening the heart here. So feel like you're shining your chest, your heart's forward proudly, and breathing space into that area, breathing out to send that heart energy around the body, which is what happens when we breathe out. We send blood around the body coming from the heart beat. So we're just kind of doing the same thing, but on a more subtle level. One more breath. Exhale, lower. Take rest, forehead on back of the hands, or turn the other cheek to the floor. You need to wobble the hips after a stronger back bend, just gently wobble the hips side to side. And then tune in. We've got one more, but if it's very hot where you are and you're tired, you can just rest. You can repeat the Sphinx or the other version, the arms straight. Or option, if you feel ready for it, is the bow. This is only for those who the body's okay with this and it's feeling up for it. So we haven't massively prepped for deeper back bends. But if you're going for the bow, you're going to bend the heels into the buttock and reach the hands back and hold onto the front of the ankles and then flex the feet. And then you push the feet into the hands to draw the shoulders back. So this is a strong back bend, so it's not for everyone. But pushing the feet back draws the shoulders back, which massively opens the heart space, the chest. So we breathe into and out of the heart space as best we can. If you're not up for this, then you're either resting or you're repeating one of the previous postures. You're probably not going to hold bow for as long, but hold it for at least 5 breaths if you can. Quality, not quantity. And then when you need to come out, slowly come down. Choose your resting position, maybe forehead on the hands again, or turn your tight side of the neck, turn your head to the tight side. Wobble the hips if you need, or even just bend the knees and just windscreen wiper the feet backwards and forwards, or side to side, I should say. Like windscreen wipers, this can just help ease the lower back after the back bending. And then as our counter pose, we're going to return to our friend the child's pose, but we're just going to take classic child's pose. Okay, so you just release the feet back down, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, press yourself up back to the tabletop, but this time have the knees together and stretch the hips back onto the heels, keeping the fingertips walking forward. So as you stretch the hips back, stretch the fingertips forward and drop the head. We're going to pause here for about 3 breaths or so with the arms fully outstretched. Traction in the spine. Breathe into the back. And then bring the hands back to the feet. Palms up, let the shoulders drop forward and take another 3 breaths or so for full child's pose. So here we just let everything relax, the chest, the back, the shoulders totally relaxed and flopping forward. And then slowly coming up, head last. So I'd like us to work towards a version, potentially headstand, for those that want to go down. I'm going to give you lots of options, don't worry. So I'd like us to work with the shoulders a bit. So we'll first of all get into a leg position that works for us. Okay, so again, there's options. If you are able to do Gomukhasana, as I'm showing here, I've got my right knee's pointing straight forward, and the right foot is to the outside of the left hip. That's my left hip. So I'm not sitting on my heel. You might want to sit on a block with this as we move into this posture to just make it more accessible. And then you walk your left heel back, so the left heel is outside the right hip. Okay, so you can be sat on the block or a floor. This is option
one for those that can go there. Some people might be able to get the right leg in position, but the left leg can't go back. So you have to have your left foot somewhere near the right knee. It's like eventually it's going to come back, but it might need to be even on the inside of the knee or in front. Okay, that's option 2. And if this is just clearly not for you, you're going to try and put your left shin in front of your right shin. And if that doesn't work, just cross the ankles, cross legged. Okay. So something for everybody in the legs. And then we're going to move, once you've got your legs sorted, we're going to move into the shoulders. Now, I should have said this before, but if you know you've got tight shoulders, you might need a strap. If you're stuck in a position in your legs and it's not close, don't worry, we can manage without. But if there's a strap handy, take it. Okay, so just start, whatever leg position you're in. If your soles of your feet are available, like I'm showing here, bring the palms to the hands, but otherwise just bring the hands to the floor, fingertips to the floor. Just take a moment to come to that stillness. Breathing into whatever leg shape you're in here, cross-legged, shin in front of shin, Kurmakasana. And then we're going to raise the right arm and drop the fingertips down spine. And then we're going to see, so you can, option 1 is to just use your left fingertips to pull up and push down on the front of the right armpit, the right elbow, really opening the armpit. Option 2 is to take the left hand out to the side, palm facing behind you, and bring the fingertips up the spine, and you might find your right hand behind you. So to show you what that looks like, you might find fingertips, or if you've got your strap, you'll be holding the ends of the strap with both hands, like this. So we're just going to pause here for a few breaths, because we're opening the shoulders to prepare for headstand. We're not necessarily going to go into headstand, but we need to open the shoulders to prepare. Okay, and then from here, release. Just ease out the shoulders. And just bring the hands out in front of you and bring the right arm on top of the left arm. And either hold the opposite shoulder, or if available, Garudasana. So we're mixing it up, cow face legs and eagle arms. So we wrap the forearms and we wrap the hands. You have no idea what that's all about. Just hold the opposite shoulder and draw the chin in. You still get the same stretch. Okay, we're in Garudasana, arms, push the hands away from the face, keep the elbows lifting in line with the shoulder, and again, just take some slow, deep breaths here. And release. And then finally, just again, ease out the shoulders if you need, but we're just going to finish with a twist. So if you cross-legged, you just do the same thing. We're going to bring the right arm, so if you cross-legged, just bring the right hand onto the left knee or left thigh. But if you're in Kurmakasana, you bring the right forearm onto the left thigh, left hand behind you, just turn to look towards the left. Release, come back to the center. Okay, so doing those variations kind of tricked you into staying in the leg position for quite a while. So you might need to just take a moment between sides. So lean back, unravel the legs from whatever position they're in, maybe just straighten them out for a moment, and you might need to just massage the knees or something just to bring the life back. And then we'll go to the other side. So now left knee is pointing forwards, left foot will eventually be on the outside of my right hip, and then I kind of bring the right. It's like we want to cross the thighs and the knees to be stacked eventually and bring the right foot back. So I often lift my hips up, really squidge the thighs together, and then sit back down. So there's a real kind of solidity in the thigh connection. Or sit on a block, or your right foot's in any other position with the knee high, or your right shin is in front of your left shin, or right foot in front of right. You're crossing the legs with the right foot in front, right shin in front. Okay. So we're in with the legs. Just take a moment. So again, if the soles of the feet are available, palms to soles, I always love this connection, or fingertips on the floor, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chest, connecting again into the heart space. When we open the shoulders, we help open the whole chest area. Maybe closing your eyes. And then lifting the left arm up, dropping the fingertips down the spine. The right arm can come up and over, your fingertips pull up and push down on the front of the elbow,
or full position. Right arm out to the side, palm faces behind you. Bring it around behind you and wriggle the fingertips up the spine. This might be a tighter side if you're right side dominant, usually is. And see what you find. Maybe the opposite fingertips, maybe your material of your top, maybe a strap. Breathe. Or just stay in the first variation when you're using your right fingertips on the left elbow. Stillness, maybe closing the eyes to stay connected to your inner landscape, to the kasha, your inner space behind the closed eyes. What do you see there? Colours, shapes. And then release. Move the shoulders if you need. Bring the hands out in front of you. And bring, I think it's the right arm on top now. I've got a bit lost. The brain is suffering in the heat. Try and do the other side that you didn't do last time. I think I'm right in saying put the right arm on top of the left. Either hug opposite shoulder or lift the hands up, interlace, forearms, wrists. I did learn a fact: when the temperature goes above 32 degrees, the brain capacity, the brain function massively drops. It's like, yep. Okay, so apologies. A bit unclear at times. Slow, deep breaths. And then release. Open up the shoulders if you need, or move them. Finishing with our twist. So left hand onto right knee if you're just cross-legged, or otherwise your forearm somewhere on the thigh and your right hand's behind you. Either way, we're just twisting to the right, looking towards the right shoulder. Nice, slow, deep breaths. And unravel, come back to the center. Okay, so we're going to finish with a back bend and an inversion. So I'm going to give lots of space for back bend and inversion. We've done quite a bit of back bending, but it doesn't hurt to do one more when we've got this heart opening theme. So we're going to come down onto our backs. And I invite you, if you want, because we've got a more cooling practice, to take a restorative back bend. So if you want to take a dynamic one, the bridge or the wheel, please feel free. But otherwise, take a block or a solid brick and take it underneath your sacrum. So it could be on the lower setting, the medium setting, or even on the higher setting, but only if it feels safe to do so. I really like this strong opening I get on the high setting, and to help it feel stable, I interlace my hands around the front of the block and kind of hold it in place between my forearms. But you could be on the lowest. If you don't have a block or a brick, if you've got anything else firm, use that like a book. Otherwise, you're just doing it without. So you've got your heels into the buttocks, you're pressing through your feet, you're lifting your hips, and you're just using the strength of your legs, okay, instead, as I'm showing here. And otherwise, we get the cooling benefit of being a bit more restorative. So the block takes the weight, so we can relax, and we get a different opening. You get a really lovely unwinding of tension when you start to use props like this. It's like the body, once the body feels safe, like it trusts the support, then it starts to just let go of the strain. You know, it doesn't need to support itself for once, so it kind of really relaxes into that, so giving the body a break. The legs don't need to support us so much here. If you are not using the block, you probably will want to come down at some point now, or come down, take rest, and do another one. But those of us taking the cooling, supported back bend, we're just going to stay a few more breaths. You could try extending the legs. This can feel quite nice. It can also feel quite intense, especially if you're on the higher setting. But you could explore that. Just gives a different opening. See here I'm preferring a knees bent. Okay, a couple more breaths. And then from here, we're going to just press through the feet to lift the hips, come off the block, slowly lower the spine down. So wherever you're at with the back bending, coming down now, really releasing the sacrum down to the mat, shrugging the shoulders back, just taking a moment here with the knees bent, just to let the spine come back to its neutral curves. Big breath. And then stretching the legs up to the ceiling, reaching the arms overhead. Find that capital L in the body, press out through the heels, and then bend the knees, bring the hands forward, and just hug the knees into the chest. And maybe you want to rock side to side here, or maybe with our theme of stillness, just staying still in the middle. And just closing the eyes, feeling the body moving towards stillness. And then just slowly roll to one side, press yourself up. Yeah, we've got a few minutes, so we're just going to give a bit of space for Shirshasana, the headstand, or to prepare for headstand. So if you are very confident with headstand, just crack on, enjoy your headstand. If you really don't want to go anywhere near headstand, my alternative is child's pose, which is an inversion. Your forehead's going to touch the floor again, and it counts as an inversion, and it's got that same cooling, inward folding posture. For those that want to move towards headstand, prepare. We can do a really lovely, it's a shoulder strengthener and opener, and I'll talk you through it now. So what we're going to do, you don't even need to take your feet off the floor, by the way. It's preparation for headstand. So we bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, holding the opposite arm. So make sure you've got a good grip of the opposite arm. This helps you get the elbows in the right place. And then release the hands, but don't move the elbows. So they should more or less be underneath your shoulders. Interlace your fingers so you create like a little basket. We're going to put the top of the head on the floor behind that basket. So if you want to look before you do it, that's fine. Just have a look at what I'm doing. So I've got the crown of my head on the floor. I'm holding the back of my head in that basket. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips, and then we walk the feet as close to the elbows as we can. At the same time, I'm pressing down very actively through the elbows and the wrists and the forearms. This is really important. This is what builds the strength in the upper back and the shoulders that we need for headstand. But the walking the feet forward starts to open the lower back. So we might just get to like a downward dog on the elbows, but if we're getting to the place where the hips are really far forward, we might explore lifting one foot, lifting another foot, maybe even for a moment lifting both. Okay, and then if you are comfortable in headstand, it's just a movement of the pelvis to extend the legs up from there. But we don't have to go that far. We can stay with the preparation, just exploring, and then the most important thing when you've had your little explore is you come down and you take a nice long child's pose to decompress the neck. Okay, so if you want to have a go, if you don't, just take child's pose, but otherwise we can have a go together. So it's like we want to take a really good meaty grip of the opposite forearm, upper arm, and bring the elbows down, and then release, interlace the hands, make that basket, crown of the head on the floor, tuck the toes under and lift the hips. And this might be where you get to, pressing down through the elbows, taking a few breaths, coming down with the knees, child's pose. Those can be your headstand prep this evening. So just giving a bit of space for this. If anybody's got any questions or isn't sure what you're doing, just let me know. When you've had your go, that's it, Miriam. Yeah. Then make sure you take a child's pose. So try walking the feet a bit further forward, Miriam, before, because eventually we don't want to, we want to use the core strength more than momentum eventually, if we can. Yeah, great. Great job. Okay, so make sure you take a nice child's pose so you can press the neck. Okay, so I can't see what everyone's doing, but it looks like most people are in child's pose, I think. If not, start to think about moving towards there.
so that we've got time for Shavasana. Okay, so just come to stillness. Let the breath settle, let the heart rate settle, let the mind settle. Going upside down can create havoc in the mind, all kinds of turbulence. So just let the stories drop away, let that inner voice drop away, come back to the Chitta inner space, looking at the space behind your closed eyes.
And then slowly, when you're ready, coming up, head comes up last, and we're just going to come back onto our backs. So just find your way back onto your backs. And we've just got a few minutes left. So if you feel ready to go straight into Shavasana, fantastic. If you feel there's something you need, maybe a little twist if the spine's feeling funny, or you just want to hug the knees into the chest, just do a brief something if you need it. But otherwise, as soon as you feel ready to do so, find your way into our final integrating resting posture, the corpse pose. So we've got the feet wider than the hips, flopping out to the side. We've got the arms away from the side, palms up. We've got the spine and the head and the neck and the pelvis centrally aligned. And then we just let go. So even though we were quite static this evening, we still worked hard. We worked in a different way. So we've done the work now, we just open to receive the fruits of the practice, and especially on these powerful astrological moments, we can really open to receive the highest good available to us in our practice, in the planetary energies. Just open to receive your highest good. Relax. Feel your heart softening, spacious in your chest. Feel your chest open, your shoulders relaxed, your back relaxed, your neck, your head relaxed, your arms relaxed. Maybe connecting with that sphere of green light in your heart space, just pulsing away with the breath, sending out healing heart energy through the body. And then just, if you're closing with me, stay longer if not, but if you're closing with me, just deepening the breath. Starting to move the fingers, the toes, the head. Maybe taking some stretches, full body stretch, knees to chest. And then gradually, just in your own time, returning to seated.
Take a moment to close the class, maybe palms together or wherever's comfortable, but just take a moment of acknowledgement and gratitude to yourself for practicing this evening, to your body, to anything else you feel grateful for, to your beautiful heart, your inner wisdom. And then when you're ready, just open the eyes. Thank you for practicing this evening with me. Namaste. I'll see you soon.